The US leadership can tell Xi Jinping, see, we follow your money, we know where you hide your money. So from another perspective,
We can stop it.
this is like a psychological war, a psyop, psychological operation. So without firing any missiles, and the United States can have a huge influence on the outcome of the CCP. When will they collapse?
Hello, welcome to China Insights. This is Xiaoli. In today's program, we're going to talk about a highly anticipated report that's being prepared by the United States intelligence community. And the topic is actually about the corruption of Chinese Communist Party, CCP. One may say, of course I understand that the Communist Party is corrupted, and which dictatorship does not corrupt, right? Well, do you know how much money did they steal from Chinese economy and turn it into their own personal widows and hide outside China? What's the great scale of this corruption? And why this report is being produced this year? What's unique about this timing? And what kind of potential impact it will bring? Right. So there is a political joke inside China. If you line up all the Communist Party officers and execute every one of them, well, definitely there will be someone being wrongly killed. But if you just execute one every other officers, you will miss a lot of these guilty ones. Of course, this is a joke, but it gives you a sense that Chinese people understand how deeply corrupted, rotted in the root for the communist system. But even for Chinese people, it's still hard to grasp the full scale of the corruption and how much money they stole outside China. So that's related to this report. So on April 10th, 2024, Bill Gertz, a veteran media personality who has very close tie to the United States military, wrote an article on Washington Times. In his article, Bill Gertz revealed that the Director of National Intelligence, Admiral Haynes, is actually working with Secretary of State Anthony Blinken on a report that is mandated by the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2023. So these reports actually targeting the top echelon of the Chinese Communist Party. So this including Xi Jinping, right, and also the 7 members of the Standing Committee of the Chinese CCP's Politburo, in total 25 members of the Politburo, plus 205 members of the Central Committee of CCP. In addition, it also targets leaders at the provincial or ministerial level. Right? So inside China, even if you are governor for any particular province, you may not be the number one because the secretary of the local Communist Party branch will be the top leader. Right? So this is unique about CCP system. So basically, this report that's being produced right now is actually target the top echelon of the CCP. And they will investigate about bribery, embezzlement, money laundering, and other criminal activity for these Chinese top brass regarding these illegal activity outside China, where they hide those monies, maybe in some offshore companies, in banks, well, maybe in the United States bank or in the Swiss banks. But basically, this is leave no one out in the top brass of the CCP, want to bring up the whole situation about the grand scale of the corruption. So, what kind of grand scale corruption you can imagine, right? So, according to Emily, who's an expatriate from Hong Kong, and is also an entrepreneur from Hong Kong, he once revealed to the media in 2021 that he estimated the total money that the CCP officials stole from Chinese economy and put it outside China is about 10 trillion US dollar value. Is this a far-fetched number? May not be. Remember, in the beginning of the COVID outbreak, when probably the first year of the COVID outbreak, when the United States realized that China did not tell the world timely regarding the outbreak of the COVID-19, and many of the conservative United States politicians in federal level or in state level, want hold China accountable for hiding this information. So at the time, they estimate they are about $10 trillion that they can use as a compensation, right? These $10 trillion may be hide by the Chinese CCP officials outside China, and then these money can be used as a resource to pay as a compensation to the United States to people's loss, maybe even people's lives lost during the COVID because CCP did not tell the truth timely enough. So this $10 trillion number is not a far-fetched number. And also we know that WikiLeaks once also had a report telling that about 5,000 Swiss bank account has been established by CCP officers. And also, remember several years ago, in the Panama paper, right? So it reveals millions of financial transactions. And in those papers, it actually talks about some high-ranking Chinese officers like Blinken, the former premier of CCP, and also Gertz, Politburo Standing Committee members. So these people actually were named in the Panama paper that they have hidden wealth in offshore companies, in Swiss banks. And also, even one Chinese officer, his name is Gertz. He's a director in the Fiscal Science Institute inside the Ministry of Finance in China. He once wrote an article in August 2022 on his Weibo account. So in this article, he actually said, according to the information released by the Swiss bank, there are about 100 wealthy Chinese people. They have deposit up to 7.8 trillion yuan. That's renminbi, right? So this is about, let's say, 1.2 trillion US dollar values. And so on average, these 100 Chinese people, everyone had about 78 billion yuan in their wealth, and it's hiding outside China, right? So that give us an understanding of how big scale about the corruption it is. And CCP officials, they have different ways to steal the national treasure from the economy. Maybe originally it was state-owned enterprises, but through management buyout, they can turn into a personal wealth, and then they can divert the money, into offshore company, and then the money become their own personal wealth. So this CCP's different schemes to steal the money and hide money. So under this kind of situation, we will understand that if these information are systematically collected and revealed to the Chinese people, imagine how big impact it will be, right? Even in the last few years, some of the top CCP current leaders were revealed to have huge money hidden outside China. For example, Wang Qishan, who is the leadership in CCP's disciplinary committees, and also Gertz, Wang, who are the top two diplomats in China, were all exposed to have huge wealth outside China, right? So right now, people are curious, how much money does Xi Jinping's family have and hidden outside China, right? So even for Chinese Communist Party officials at different levels, they probably were also curious, how much money did they steal outside China, right? Even inside China, they know that number is huge, right? Remember in 2014, when Xi Jinping was arrested due to corruption. But Xi Jinping is vice president of Central Military Committee under CCP. He's a first top general in the PLA, People's Liberation Army. So when he was arrested, they found even just a cash, it cannot be counted. It's in tons. So the authority have to send over a dozen military trucks to confiscate all these cashes, as well as some of the gold, jewelries, all these huge wealth that he stole inside his properties, his luxury properties. So you can imagine outside China how much money they can, hide. And this is give an example. This is a great scale of corruption. At least it will be a detrimental information that's being exposed under the light if these report that's being produced right now can be released to the public. So and here, this is one important concept. So these report that's being produced by the U.S. intelligence community actually is required to be released to the public. This is put into the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2023. And this provision actually was put in there by Senator Marco Rubio from Florida. So he's a senior member of the Senate Intelligence Committee. So because of the National Defense Authorization Act, it's over 1,000 pages. So this provision at the beginning did not caught people's attention. But fortunately, Gertz found this situation and did his investigation and brought up this report. So these reports supposed to be due at the end of the year 2024. So we have about 8 months period. So will the DNI and the Department of State, DOS, can timely produce the report? We don't know right now, and we do not have too many specific information about that. But we want to bring people's attention to this report right now because it's very important.
So let's talk about the timing of this report. Why this year? So people naturally will think, oh, this is election year, and Biden want to win some political points by showing his toughness. This will be good for his re-election, right? Showing his true leadership. But this is actually conflicting for his long-time strategy when dealing with China, his long-time strategy for international relationship, because he's always talk about to avoid escalation of tension between China and United States. He even sent our Secretary of Treasury, Secretary of Commerce to China to engage and negotiate, right? And it's reasonable competitiveness, but not decoupling from China, right? So this is long-term Biden administration strategy. So if they produce this report by the end of the year, so actually will be conflicting for their long-term strategy. So that's why it's actually a question whether the Biden administration will release this report or not. So let's do a survey here. So if you think by the end of the year, the Biden administration will release the full report from the intelligence community, you can type A in the comment section. If you think Biden administration will only release part of the report, you can type B. If you think Biden administration won't release any part of the reports, you can type C. All right, so we want to collect your feedbacks, your understanding on this situation. But no matter what, this report from the intelligence community on the grand scale corruption of CCP top echelon will be an important political card. Because as you understand, right now Xi Jinping have a strategy, have a plan to dealing with Taiwan. So many speculate that he probably will aim to invade Taiwan by 2027. But will he will he instigate any conflict, military conflict at current stage? We don't know. Because right now the world is kind of in a chaotic situation already, right? You see Ukraine war, you see the war between Iran and Israel, and you see Israelis war against Hamas, right? So under this kind of situation, maybe Xi Jinping want to have a little bit of military conflict, try to test what is the red line for the international community, right? So under this kind of situation, to fully understand the corruption of CCP top echelons will be a powerful political card. The US leadership can tell Xi Jinping, see, we follow your money. We know where you hide your money. We know your Swiss banks accounts. We know your American bank accounts. We know your investments. We know your bribery records, right? We know your financial records to support Iran, support Russia. All these different financial tracking will be a powerful political card, and especially about CCP officials' corruption. If you stole from Chinese people and put money outside and make it your own personal wealth, it will trigger a whole society anger against CCP, right? It will cause more instability inside the communist system. It maybe even can accelerate the disintegration of Chinese Communist Party. So this will be a powerful political card, no matter what. So from another perspective, this is like a psychological war, a psyop, psychological operation. So without firing any missiles, and the United States can have a huge influence on the outcome of the CCP. When will they collapse, right? So this is a powerful political card. Because many of the Chinese people and international society quite often fall into a mind trap. So CCP always tell the Chinese people, China is so big, Chinese population is so huge, and Chinese people quite often is undereducated. So this society need a powerful leadership like CCP. So if CCP collapse, Chinese people will be put into more misery conditions than CCP's ruling. So this is the narrative that Chinese people try to indoctrinate it into Chinese people's mind. And some people buy it. After repeated brainwashing, you sometimes subconsciously accept this concept. Well, CCP also pushed this narrative to the global society. So they talk about no regime change, right? And CCP collapse will bring chaos into Chinese society, will bring instability for global economy. So let's de-escalate any tension with Chinese government. Let's do not have any economic wars against China, right? So this is CCP's narrative. And many of the diplomats, many of the financial sector leaders, US government leaders actually also buy into this concept. People in Europe, in Australia also buy into this concept. That's why these investigation report will be powerful to let people see how corrupted the CCP is. Do you still trust these people? Can you still work with these people? Can you have a business deal with these people? Can you guarantee that your money, your people's wealth won't be stolen by the CCP officials and turn into their own personal wealth, right? So this is very important to wake up to this situation. And also some people will question saying, well, these investigation reports don't have teeth, right? It doesn't have any sanction power. Well, Congress have bills, have the sanction power. For example, there's a bill coming up. Its number HR 7476. This bill was brought forward by two congressmen, Congressman Kevin Hern from Oklahoma and Congressman Joe Wilson from South Carolina. Congressman Hern is the chairman of the Republican Study Committee, and Congressman Wilson is the chairman for National Security Task Force under Republican Study Committees. So they brought forward this new bill, and it's called Countering Communist China Act. And they talk about need to sanction the top echelon of the Chinese Communist Party. So this is sanction, right? So it has teeth. It can freeze assets. And especially when CCP have any aggression against Taiwan, the wealth that the CCP official, their family members, relatives stole from China and deposited inside United States can be freezed. So these will have a direct impact on the personal interest on the CCP officials, right? So one investigation report from intelligence community combined with bills, if all things are put into reality in the near future, combined together, it will be a combination powerful blow against CCP, right? So that's why I think many righteous forces are coming together. People need to be united using different measures, different whole government measures against CCP's influence, CCP's corruption, CCP's infiltration. So, we see the people waking up. Let me read a couple of statements from the Congressman Hern and Congressman Wilson, and you can see their understanding of CCP. So Congressman Joe Wilson said, the CCP dictatorship in China run by Xi Jinping threatens global security, endangers our allies, and is destroying the future of people of China. Right? He here clearly differentiates what is Chinese people, what is CCP, right? What is Chinese government. Very clear distinction. And Congressman Hearns also have an important statement when he introducing the bill. He said, for years, Congress has been operating under the guise of friendship with China and dependence on China. But the reality is that the CCP pose a greater threat to American sovereignty than any modern adversaries. We must treat the CCP like the threat they are and use every tool at our disposal to combat their influence in our schools and our government. This bill targets the CCP in a comprehensive and vigorous way, putting American safety and economic security first. And it is the strongest legislation against the CCP ever introduced to Congress, and for good reason. Right? So this is a powerful statement. I think clearly indicating that American people are waking up to the threat of the CCP. And so combining different powers from the government, from the Congress, all together, right? The administration and the legislative sector working together to put powerful blows against CCP. So that's very important. That also indicating we are at a different stage right now. So we hope that by the end of this year, these investigation report will be complete by the DNI and the Department of State. Of course, we don't know when it will be released. These specific detail we don't know yet, but we want to bring it to your attention at this early stage, hope that everyone, every constituents can, pay attention to this issue and maybe even influence your congressman regarding these issues. And so we like to let more people see the grand scale of the corruption of CCP, let people understand more about the nature of the Communist Party. And I think in return, these will protect us better, and we cannot ignore the fundamental threat that CCP has already put forward against the whole international community, right? So thank you for watching today's program. This is Sean Lin. We'll see you next time.